The witch offered a candy, but Bruno didn't take it. The witch releases snakes. Suddenly, Grandma's shout came, and the witch disappeared. That night, Bruno told Grandma about it, and Grandma was stunned. Grandma remembered seeing Allie eat the witch's candy when she was a child, and she mutated. Allie's mouth became sharp and hard. Allie pecks around and ends up turning into a cock. Grandma said that what Bruno encountered was the witch. The witch pretends to be an adult to deceive children. As long as you eat this kind of candy, you will become various small animals. In order not to attract people's attention, the witch only picks children from poor families. So Grandma took Bruno to live in a luxury hotel to escape. A group of stylishly dressed women also came here. They had long scars at the corners of their mouths, and they were all the witches. And the witch room is downstairs from Bruno's. The next day, Bruno met Cody, who ate the chocolate in his hand. Mom pulled Cody by the ear and pulled away. When Bruno was playing on the ground, the lights in the hall suddenly came on, and Bruno hurriedly hid under the stage and walked in with the witches. The witches took off their gloves, and there were only 3 claws on their palms. The witch's feet are also bald, only and has 1 toe, and made all the witches take off their wigs, and all the witches were bald, which made Bruno shudder. Witches hate children and even go mad when they see them. Anne spread her hands, suspended in the air, and shouted to make all the children disappear. Suddenly the witch interrupted his speech. Anne is angry. This is a magical potion that turns a child into a mouse by adding just a drop to a candy. Suddenly, Anne smelled a child, and sniffed at the table, then lifted the stage, but there was nothing inside. It turned out that Bruno had escaped into the ventilation duct, but he couldn't escape as sense of smell. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door and Cody walked in. The witch returned to normal in an instant, and it turned out that the chocolate had also been dripped into the potion. At this time, the effect of the medicine kicked in, and Cody began to twitch all over, smoking non-stop. Cody flew into the air with only 1 suit of clothes left. Then a mouse got out. Cody was quickly trampled by the witch. The little white mouse said to save Cody. The little white mouse rushed up and caught his tail, and dragged him back to the pipe.
Gosh, you're a giant. Why are you so big? I'm not big. You're little. I'm normal.
And pulled open the vent, grabbed Bruno by the ear, and dragged him out. And dripped the potion in Bruno's ear, and Bruno twitched and turned into a mouse. When Bruno ran away and held his tail, the sledgehammer was handed over, and the little white mouse rushed out and bit his finger. The 3 mice escaped into the pipe, and the witch stretched out her 10-meter-long arm, but caught the fan, causing it to cry in pain. The 3 mice slipped into the elevator and came to Grandma's room door. 3 mice climbed up the wall along the cleaning cart. He rang the doorbell, only to be discovered by the cleaners. The cleaner picked up the broom to drive away the mice, and the 3 mice ran away in a panic. Grandma opened the door just in time, and the 3 mice escaped in. Bruno told Grandma everything, and it turned out that the white mouse was also transformed from a human. The witch must be stopped, or all human children will turn into mice. And the witch happened to live downstairs, and Bruno had a plan. The mouse descended slowly while sitting in the sock. When it came to the ground, it rushed into the room. The mouse pushed off the pillow, jumped on the table, and pulled out the bottle of potion. The mouse was holding the potion and wanted to leave, but the witch came back suddenly, and the mouse quickly hid under the table. The room was full of mouse traps. When the mouse took advantage of the witch counting the banknotes, Bruno ran away with the potion and got into the sock. The sock rose into the air and was caught by the witch. Bruno was terrified, hiding inside. Grandma hurriedly said that the sock had fallen, and the witch let go. Bruno managed to get the potion. Grandma dispensed the antidote, but unexpectedly the antidote turned black and failed. The 3 mice could never turn back into humans. Bruno decides to turn all witches into mice. Bruno came into the kitchen through the ventilation duct, put the vial on the spoon, and dropped the potion into the corn soup. Then Bruno and Grandma came to the restaurant. The witches drank the corn soup, and a witch suddenly trembled all over, and then flew into the air and turned into a mouse scurrying on the table. The witches flew up one by one, and the scene was quite spectacular. The witches all turned into mice. The dining room was in disarray. The waiter frantically drove them away with a broom. The rat jumped on Stanley and bit him. Grandma takes Bruno to the witch room and destroys the poisonous potion unexpectedly, and came suddenly, and didn't eat, so she didn't turn into a mouse. when Anne stretched out her 3-meter-long hands to grab Grandma. 3 mice pushed out the mousetrap and clamped his toes, and let out a horrific scream. Using the mousetrap as a springboard, Bruno rushed into the air with the potion in his arms, and trembled all over, and with a puff, she turned into an ugly mouse, and jumped at them angrily. Anne is covered by a cut by Grandma. Before leaving, Grandma released the witch's pet cat.
No, don't think about food.
Although the 3 mice couldn't turn back into humans, they still lived happily, because they don't have to face the troubles of growing up, and they don't have any pressure in life.